Please remain standing for the Australian National Anthem, performed by Corporal Elizabeth Smith.
What a brilliant rendition of the national anthem here at CommBank Stadium as we have a look at how the sides line up for a massive Saturday fixture. Just the one change for Marco Rudan's side as Anthony Pantazopoulos drops out of the matchday squad with a hamstring injury, meaning Englishman Tom Beeling comes into the starting 11. He partners his captain Marcelo as Lockie Brooke keeps his place in the side after being called up to the Olyroos that are set to play Qatar and Saudi Arabia next week. As for the Perth Glory, after coming in for New Zealand international Ollie Sale, Cameron Cook keeps his place in between the sticks. Adam Taggart is a late out with injury, which means David Williams comes into the starting 11. Alan Stajic has been forced into two other changes as well, with Jared Carluccio and Oliver Zanic unavailable due to their loan clauses from today's hosts. Jacob Muir comes into midfield for Bozanic, and Bruce Kamau comes in for Jared Carluccio against his former side. There is Marco Rudan, his crosstown counterpart, Steve Corica, being axed midweek at Sydney FC. Marco Rudan with plenty to say after that as well, and a big challenge for him today. Perth Glory have won the last two meetings between these sides, and it's Alan Stagic's first game for Perth against Western Sydney. His side remained unbeaten, obviously was the coach of the Philippines at the FIFA Women's World Cup, and what a job he did at the helm. Daniel Elder leading the officiating team, assisted ably by Owen Goldrick, Brad Wright and Sam Kelly. Daniel Elder in his 80th game in the Isuzu Ute A-League. A big challenge for both sides today. Campbell Johnson here in commentary, joined by Phil Moss, and it's set to be an absolute cracker. You had a big tip prior to the game, Mossy.
Yeah, look, why wouldn't you tip goals in this one? I know you can argue for clean sheets, but last time Western Sydney Wanderers were at home, Campbell, it was a goal-a-thon, wasn't it? Particularly in the first half. But yeah, tipping goals in this one, I might put my neck on the line and even say I'm tipping 5 goals in this game. 5 goals, there you have it. 1 for the neutral. They scored 5 in their last home game against Western United. As we are underway at CommBank Stadium in round 4 of the Isuzu Ute A-League. The last 3 fixtures between these sides, however, have all ended in a 1-0 win. And for the home side as well. They faced off in round 1 of last season. Shubman Kripic scoring the only goal, and a good opportunity here for Salim Khalifi, the Tunisian, now into the side after having a little bit of an injury setback to start the season. And a big in as well for Perth Glory, the Irishman Aaron McInerney back into the squad. Last time these sides played,
scored a 96th minute winner in Perth Glory's first game back at HBF Park after spending some time, obviously, at Macedonia Park. And Mossy, you were on the call for that one. What a game that was.
Absolutely remarkable. And Perth were down to 10 men after 2 minutes as well, from memory. And that was a memorable late goal from McInnes. It is great to see him back in the squad. But just in reference to my earlier comments about goals, I've been so impressed with this real concentration, I think, from coaches and teams to play this expansive attacking football, and what we've got from that in the opening rounds is plenty of goals, so there's no reason to suggest this game will be any different.
Western Sydney with 9 goals in their last 2 games. Obviously they scored 5 against Western United, as previously stated, and then had a 2-2 draw last week against the Newcastle Jets on the road. Marco Rudan went into the travelling fans bus after the game as well, just to thank the travelling support, which is great to see as the offside flag goes up from Owen Goldrick on the near side.
Well, I think Rudan has spoken at length since he took over this role at Western Sydney about restoring the DNA of Western Sydney Wanderers, and never was it more on show than last week in the second half. Away to Newcastle, 2-0 down. They found a way to get themselves back into the game and draw level and at least take a point away. So I'm sure he wouldn't have been happy with going down 2-0, but certainly coming back to 2-2 filled him with pride.
He, of course, led the side to their first finals berth in quite a long time. It's Bruce Kamau almost opening the scoring against his former side. Daniel Benny, the youngster, going down, and Alan Stajic with plenty to say about it.
Well, on first glance, I thought he had a case there for a potential penalty. Daniel Benny, don't really see it clearly on that replay. He's going to be looked at by VAR. Chris Griffith-Jones in the bunker for us today.
It is play on. Daniel Benny, just 17 years of age. Here's another look at it. Marcelo just bringing him down, perhaps?
I think maybe Benny left a leg in on second glance, and maybe it was just outside the box as well. Good early call.
Yeah. Here's Darryl Latchman on his birthday as well, no less. What an addition he's been to this Perth side since coming into the league a few years ago. His 34th birthday today, looking like a fine wine. He's a Curaçao international.
And a very good defender. One memory that does stand out was that horrible head clash at Brisbane, I think it was, away last season. He's recovered from that, thankfully, last season, of course. Continues to add value. He's a strong leader for Perth Glory on the field and, of course, in the dressing room as well.
Very strong central defensive pairing of himself and Mark Beavers, the Englishman. As Western Sydney Wanderers looking to charge forward. Inside now, striking from Milanovic. On that left-hand side, Lockie Brook, the former Adelaide United man, on the right. Both Brandon Borello and Marcus Antonsson, the Swede. Bit of pressure on Brandon Borello's shoulders coming into this game. 2 assists so far this year. No goals, though.
Yeah, it's always an interesting one too when you've got to play a game after being selected in the national team squad. He goes into camp, of course, after this game. As the squad assembles with Graham Arnold down in Melbourne. It's always just trying to get away from that little niggle of doubt in the back of your mind about potential injury and being able to play freely. Of course, the more you commit yourself to the game, less chance of getting injured.
13 goals last season in the Isuzu Ute A-League, of course, for Brandon Borello. Coming back from Europe and really earning his way back into the Socceroos fold. He's taking it with both hands at the moment. Here's Marcelo. Jorrit Hendricks, the Dutchman, with a very impressive CV. Jorrit Hendricks. This is lovely play from the Wanderers. Tate Russell bursting forward into the box, shields off Schuschner. Brook blocked by Gio Colli. And that was a lovely play from the Western Sydney Wanderers as Bruce Kamau bundled over for a foul too. And a lovely bit of play from Marco Rudan's side.
Yeah, really intelligent from Tate Russell down the right-hand side. Not only did he burst in behind, but then he picked his pass. It was really smart with the cut back to the edge of the box for Lockie Brook. Players in that situation just thrashed the ball across the face of goal. He picked his target, and it's great to see.
To see him back in action after a long time on the sidelines. Missed the whole of last year with injury as Milanovic manages to best the Perth Glory defence, but can't find Marcus Antonsson making the run from deep.
Of course, Western Sydney Wanderers do have the most number of crosses from that left-hand side in the league. Clisby with 21, Milanovic with 16. It's no wonder that they've had the most attempts on goal from the head as well, with 14, 3 goals the result. Something Perth Glory will have to be aware of is defending their right-hand side.
Bill Moss, the statistician, pulling them all out. They have had a great start to the campaign. That left-hand side, Clisby really breaking out, of course, playing against his former side today. He was with them last year. A sensational campaign too. Sorrento FC Junior. No stranger to Perth is Jack Clisby. And the local leagues with Sorrento, Balcana, Perth Soccer Club and Inglewood United. 2 stints with the Perth Glory. And now in his second stint with Western Sydney Wanderers. He's been around the traps a bit, has Jack Clisby. Switch of play now for Perth. Daniel Benny asked to do a lot. He does very well, the 17-year-old. Here's Benny towards the byline, cuts it back, and Josh Brillante happy to see it away. A good move from the youngster.
Well, let's not brush past that piece of skill from Daniel Benny. That was absolutely brilliant. He made it look so easy, I can assure you. It was anything but. He just missed the first contact on his head there and the pace of the pass. And then he gets it, Tate Russell. Drags it onto his left foot, and maybe might have been better served just clipping it rather than trying to drive it low. Nonetheless, a brilliant piece of skill from Benny.
What a youngster he is. Really starred for the Australia under-17s at the Asian Cup earlier this year, scoring a massive goal against Tajikistan as Gio Colli towards that back post. David Williams. Hendricks able to clear momentarily. Petrumbis. Back for Williams on the volley and just catches the side of his boot. Doesn't quite hit it as sweetly as he would have hoped.
Oh, you can see exactly what Davey Williams was trying to do then. He was waiting for the ball to come onto that right foot. Fantastic header from Latchman. He's just waiting for it to come across his body, and I've no doubt he's going for Lawrence Thomas's far post. Didn't quite get the connection on it that he was looking for. A good open feel in these early stages. Just about 10 minutes gone.
Promising early signs. Varela for Milanovic on the far side, the former Western United player. Here's Khalifi. The Swiss-born Tunisian just can't quite make anything of it. Had such a great debut campaign last year in the league. As it's a lovely ball over the top for Benny. Takes a touch, marked by Marcelo. Looking for teammates is Daniel Benny. Tries to go himself, takes a touch, and a brilliant stop by Jack Clisby, just able to see it over the byline. David Williams was lurking.
With intent, wasn't he? That's brilliant from Benny. First of all, he stands Marcelo up and just waits for his chance. He doesn't rush it till he gets his half a yard, and you can see him trying to bend it into that back post. Clisby had to be fully concentrated there and did his job superbly.
Good composure from the youngster, Daniel Benny. His maiden campaign. Tall timber forward for Perth Glory, played short. Colli driving it in, but Josh Brillante to see it away. Former Sydney FC player. He's played for his fair share of clubs too. There's Josh Brillante. Perth Glory pressing with intent at the moment. Western Sydney happy to play around it.
See Perth pressing high up the pitch. Obviously there comes a time where they have to drop into their midfield block, but those two banks of four and two up front, Benny and Davey Williams, Western Sydney will have to find the solutions to that, setting up in a 4-2-4 formation. Away with that licence to drop into midfield, of course. Antonson playing the higher role as a number 9.
Thomas playing very well out of defence just before.
Well, if you're a young goalkeeper coming through, learn to play with your feet because the modern game demands it. It's not just about what you do with your hands. We've got some very good technicians of that in Australian goalkeeping ranks. Matty Ryan, of course, top of the pops at the moment.
Here's Russell delivering towards Milanovic, was lining it up with intent too. We'll take the moment as we have a stoppage here. Just a head down to Tristan McManus, who is on the sideline as Bruce Kamau just getting a little bit of treatment.
Hey guys, yeah, Bruce, to be honest with you, I wasn't watching that. I was watching Tate Russell bombing up this wing here. Yeah, Perth, they're going to have to be a bit patient today, I think, and they're very much getting that direction from the bench here. It's just organise, organise, organise is all I keep saying. And I think you need to do that. They haven't... Most of Wanderers' stuff has come down the right wing here, so they just keep waiting for Tate Russell to get that a little bit too far forward and just pinging it over his head every single time. So something's going to have to happen there. It's interesting to see the switching between Lockie Brook and Borrello. They keep switching positions. I don't know if that's necessarily for Borrello to come back and cover Tate Russell, but you saw the aggression here 2 seconds ago. I absolutely love it. They're growling as they're double teaming people. And I mean, look, I love Borrello. You know I love Borrello, and I love Wanderers. This is going to be a great game today.
Stefan Kolikovsky now on as well, joining the fold. Thanks for that, Tristan. Growling.
How good's his passion, Tristan McManus. Just takes us down onto the pitch side, doesn't he? For all our viewers, living it minute by minute.
Here's Brillante winning it back for the Wanderers. Milanovic. Here's Hendricks, the Dutchman, working his way out wide. Does find its way to Clisby. Katrumbis does very well on that side. And good to see Stefan Kolikovsky getting some minutes after a really tough campaign last year.
Yeah, that's right. He's looking like he's in the mood this season, which is fantastic. We've seen him already score a good goal. Just on exciting players, Bruce Kamau did not look comfortable as he came off the pitch a couple of minutes ago.
Not at all. Just
touching his hamstring.
Just 14 minutes in to the game as well. Here's Brillante striking, takes a touch, and it will go out for a corner. Yeah, just clutching onto that hamstring. Bruce Kamau, not the start to the game he would have wanted against his former side. There he is. Bruce Kamau just getting a little bit of ice under that hamstring. Hopefully nothing long-term for him, but player who's battled injuries in recent history as well. Here's Hendricks standing over the corner for the Wanderers. Hendricks towards the middle there. They get a touch at Clisby, first time striking off the left. Ambitious from the fullback, but just dragging it wide of that near post. Here is that opportunity once more.
Well, we know he's capable of striking them from distance. Jack Clisby, especially when it gets on that left foot. Ball just didn't quite come across for him to get the strike in the most comfortable position he would have liked.
Scored an absolute screamer the last game we called together, Phil Moss, in the Australia Cup when they travelled up to Brisbane at Perry Park. Fantastic goal And Jack Clisby in that game, and what a match that was. An absolute goal fest in the Sunshine State. Here's Beavers. Looking for those balls over the top frequently today. Daniel Benny making the run in behind. Marcelo going down. Much to the frustration of David Williams. The experienced campaigner. Marcelo showing every bit of his international experience. David Williams with just a few words with Daniel Elder as well.
Well, I'm not sure what Williams was hoping for there, but it was always going to be one outcome, and that's Marcelo shielding the ball. As soon as there was contact, he was going to go to ground and draw the foul, play his team out of pressure.
Played all over the globe as Marcelo. 7 countries in total. Dave Russell trying to bring it down. Jacob Muir in midfield. Perth Glory has mainly played in defence, but over recent weeks has stepped into more of a midfield role. Shushna. Khalifi does well to get around Russell and keeps it in play too. The Tunisian Khalifi. Marcelo equal to it. Doesn't trouble the Wanderers' defence, and great to see the RBB in voice early here at Combank Stadium.
Well, the good news there was Khalifi showing his array of tricks to get free of his defender, but there was 3 runners in the box for Perth Glory. Delivery wasn't up to scratch on that occasion. Good signs for Alan Stajic. And so many players in the box.
Slip over there from Marcelo, not made to pay for it though. Could have been in hot water if he'd lost possession, but did very well just to hang on to it. The Wanderers captain, Brook. Too physical from Shushna. Just staying with him the whole way. Lucky Brook back in Australia after spending some time in the UK with Pruag Alexandra and Brentford's B team as well. A massive advocate for the A-Leagues is Lockie Brook. He's talked numerous times about how underrated the league is, how entertaining it can be, as we've seen today. And throughout these opening now 4 rounds of the Isuzu Ute A-League season, and Liberty A-League of course, Milanovic just unable to track that ball down. Remember, Unite round coming this January to Sydney, 12th to the 14th of January, where all Isuzu Ute A-League sides and Liberty A-League sides will congregate here in Sydney. Do not miss the party. Tickets go on sale on Monday. They're already on sale for members too. Make sure you don't miss out on what is sure to be the football meeting of the year. Here's Khalifi driving forward for Perth, putting the tricks on. Brillante does very well just to read it. The RBB vocal early here at Combank Stadium, just under 20 minutes gone. Here's Antonsen. Hendricks. Nice play from the Wanderers. Here's Borrello dropping a little bit deeper, as he so often does, to link the play. Here's Brook. Good ball inside for Borrello. Just can't quite find a teammate off the touch though. Joran Hendricks. Gee, looks so composed in midfield.
Yeah, sign of a good player. They've always got time on the ball. Even when they don't have time, they look like they've got time. They use it wisely. They're so efficient with their passing.
At the moment, just doing the simple things right. The PSV Eindhoven product as it's won back by Daniel Benny, giving Perth the chance to counter. Only has David Williams on that far side. They can't link up, unfortunately, for the youngster Daniel Benny.
And you mentioned the Unite round 2, Campbell, and my first opportunity on air just to pay tribute to outgoing CEO of APL, Danny Townsend. I know, of course, the big decision around grand finals divided opinions, but I use this opportunity to pay tribute to someone who contributed so much to Australian football, both at Sydney FC and, of course, APL. Did a really good job in a very difficult environment.
Very difficult indeed, as it's towards that back post by Lockie Brook, just trying to dink it towards a teammate. Very difficult position indeed, Mossy, as Brook striking from range and Cameron Cook welcoming it into his open arms. And good from Alan Stajic to show faith in the young keeper, who had a great campaign last year. They brought in Ollie Sale, so we have a look at the save on the replay. But now he's got his place back in the team.
Yeah, that's right. And Alan Stajic has showed at all levels of the game, men's and women's, that he's not afraid to make the big calls.
It's a brilliant switch from David Williams. It goes down after the fact and is play on as Kutrumbis back for Kolakovsky, and it's saved well. Kept out of the goal by the Wanderers defence, and it could have been 3-3 for Kolakovsky. Found himself in a great patch of space. Just drifting back. Brilliant from Stefan Kolakovsky off the bench once more.
Well, almost brilliant. The run was fantastic, the way he peeled off and created the space for Kutrumbis to find him. First of all, credit Davey Williams' crossfield pass. That was absolutely outstanding into the path of Kutrumbis. Then Kolakovsky went with the defence and then just dropped off, held his space, and that created the pass for Kutrumbis. And then he just didn't get the purchase he was looking for, Kolakovsky. Wonderful opportunity, though, for Perth Glory.
Arguably their best of the game so far. Arguably either side's best chance. Still been quite end-to-end, though. Plenty of entertainment despite either side breaking the deadlock as of yet. Here's Brook. Has been trying to head it on him. Does find its way to Nick Milanovic. Here's Clisby. Milanovic delivering into the box towards that back post, and Tate Russell was rising. And Borello can collect.
Schuster used his body well there to defend the situation against Tate Russell.
It's a splitting ball. Tate Russell still. Tate Russell trying to dink it past Cameron Cook, who's equal to it if the offside flag didn't go up, and it didn't. It was a fantastic, incisive ball from the Wanderers, but now Perth with the opportunity to go the other way outside of the boot from Davey Williams. He's playing a great role today.
There's a pass from Lockie Brook to release Tate Russell in behind, and in the end he had no option there, Tate Russell. Antonsen really would have been better served holding his run, a la Kolakovsky down the other end not long before. But there were no other runners in the box for Western Sydney and Tate Russell to hit. So in the end, he had no choice but to try and get the ball past Cameron Cook. And here's that chance. Look at Kolakovsky just peeling off and giving a simple pass to Kutrumbis.
Marcelo doing well on the line. Here's Kolakovsky now. Manages to win back possession. Former Melbourne City man. Moved over to Perth Glory at the start of last season. Barely saw any game time. And now this season, what a revival for him. 2 goals so far, both off the bench. And a remontada. Although he's still young, Seemed like last year it was not going so well for Stefan Kolakowski. So it's done very well to bounce back.
Yeah, he's an exciting player to watch, isn't he, when he's in form. You get the feeling under Alen Stajic he'll get that chance.
Latchman just giving away possession, won by Antonsen, picking his pocket. Handball potentially there from Antonsen. Still going is Antonsen. And it does take the block from Mark Beavers and into the arms of Cameron Cook, but Darryl Latchman way too casual at the back, and it's won back by Antonsen, who unfortunately for the Wanderers can't make anything of it.
Yeah, well, it was too slow, the ball movement from Perth on that occasion. When you're playing out from the back, you need to keep that ball moving. And Latchman just laboured on it. Antonsen almost made him pay, but it's a moot point now, but I don't think the goal would have stood had he found the back of the net because of the handball. It's pretty clearly obvious to all of us watching that he controlled it with his hand from the deflection. You get the feeling there's a goal bubbling just under the surface at either end here.
Is this the opportunity? Petrumbis trying to bring it down. He does so well, the former Wanderers man. You're right, Mossy. There's something in this game just underneath the surface.
This is where you can see Western Sydney are well set up with their defensive structure. Perth just need to move the ball quicker, side to side, move that defensive structure around. That'll create the spaces to then penetrate the lines.
At the moment, just perhaps lacking options in the middle of the park for the defence to find. Struggling to play out of the back. Cook going along, seemingly the only option at the moment for Alen Stajic's side. Leafy just lets it run. And into the path of Josh Brillante. A little bit of a miscommunication between himself and David Williams, perhaps. And Milanovic going the other way for Wanderers. Here's Russell. Here's Hendricks. Petrumbis does well just to come in from behind and win it back. Kolakowski. Here's Petrumbis. David Williams outside the box, winding up and hitting the post. Still alive for the Perth Glory though. Kolakowski. And Beetling hitting it away. And what an opportunity from David Williams. Can Wanderers go the other way? Barello has an option outside. It is Milanovic. Antonsen. Antonsen back. And Mark Beavers able to just slow down the Wanderers' attack, and frantic stuff at the moment as Antonsen from range and hitting the woodwork at the other end. Coast to coast. And a mile a minute here at Combank Stadium.
What a remarkable passage of play. First of all, it's Davey Williams rattling the woodwork down the other end with a brilliant transition to attack from Perth Glory, and then it's Antonsen. He almost looked disinterested in that second phase of play there, and then he thinks, oh well, ball's in front of me, I'll just unleash. And he does so. And Perth Glory saved only by their woodwork. Absolutely outstanding. Long may this continue. Just need that opening goal, and this game is set to explode.
Take this time to breathe as the way it's going at the moment. Just end-to-end stuff, and a brilliant crowd just starting to build at Combank Stadium. Not a packed house by any means, but still good numbers on a hot afternoon, and a big collision with Barello and Beavers. Alen Stajic asking a few questions, and the foul does go the way of Mark Beavers. The two players just colliding. Marco Rodin just saying his foot's up here. He may have a fair case as to where Mark Beavers was on the replay. A very high foot from Mark Beavers. Brandon Borello just coming through him.
Well, he just sort of held his ground, didn't he? I don't think there was any ill intent there, but it was just awkward by Beavers. Never like to see a player land that heavily, but thankfully he's okay. But gee, what a double chance we've just seen. Transition both ways. First of all, Davey Williams across against the post. And down the other end, Antonsen, Borello. So close to giving their side the lead.
Borello. You can watch the Socceroos in action this coming week. Their World Cup qualifiers here on Channel 10 and Paramount Plus. Brandon Borello in the squad, one of 4 Isuzu Ute A-League's players, and just one back by David Williams, who thought he'd have a crack from range, perhaps saw Lawrence Thomas off his line.
Well, he's not lacking any confidence, Dave Williams, is he? He's just hit the woodwork. He's tried to outdo Lawrence Thomas from distance. But yeah, can't wait to see the Socceroos, and I know Graham Arnold and the players cannot wait to get in front of a home crowd.
Play down for the moment. Alexander Schuschner, by the looks of things. And it is, and Daniel Elder just halting play for the moment. All right, a big game for the Socceroos coming up later this week at Amy Park too.
Yeah, that's right, and it's the start of a new cycle, World Cup cycle, of course. So we just see a collision between Borello and Schuschner. Well, you can see Borello's studs. There's no ill intent there, of course. It's just clumsy on both parts. They don't tickle, those ones, when you get studs in the ankle, but yeah, fantastic. Graham Arnold, the Socceroos launch their new World Cup cycle. It's not often they get to play home games, so they're bursting at the seams to play in front of their friends, family and Aussie supporters. 2/3 of the squad that Graham Arnold has named is different to what took the pitch or took to Qatar in the World Cup last year. So plenty of changes, plenty of depth being built. Can't wait to see it get off to a positive start.
That is what that news cycle is all about. We just saw the players taking the opportunity to take in some H2O and getting sprayed as well. The hot afternoon at Combank Stadium. And Tristan McManus, how are you dealing with the heat down there? You all right, mate?
Man, I'm golden. I'm sitting in the shade here, just cruising. Yeah, no, today it's good. It's not actually as, granted I'm not on the pitch there, but like I said, this is prime time. This is perfect time to kick off for me. 5:30, sun's gone down a little bit. Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good game, huh? A couple of posts. I love Willow's looking up every time he's trying to get it over Lawrence Thomas. There's action. No one needs a 0-0 draw. Nobody waits for a Saturday for a 0-0 draw. But this is a good one, and it's not going to finish this way. No chance.
Tristan, we'll take that time just to get a prediction from you. What are you saying score-wise?
Guys, he's always put me on the boat. I never go against Wanderers at home. I've captained Brandon Borello this week in my fantasy team. I know he hasn't scored yet. I've got him for 2 today. First I had 3-2 Wanderers. I'm going to go 3-0 Wanderers.
There you go. There it is from Tristan McManus. He's got him
They're
captain.
a good team.
They are indeed. And you can sign up for A-League's fantasy, both Liberty A-League and Isuzu Ute A-League. aleagues.com.au. Head there, build your team. It's not too late. Play against your mates. See who is the best football manager. Here's Latchman. Quatrumbas getting in more advanced positions for Perth Glory. Alexander Shushna able to continue, thankfully. Perth Glory already down a player after Bruce Kamau had to end his game just over 10 minutes into it with a hamstring. Of course, they do have Mustafa Amidi injured long term. Perth Glory missing Jared Carluccio and Oli Bazanic too, due to their loan clauses. Obviously both players on loan from Western Sydney Wanderers and ineligible to play against their parent club.
I remember trying to have a clause like that inserted into Fabio Ferreira's contract when I signed him at the Central Coast Mariners from Adelaide. And I was hauled over to public coals through the media for daring to try and bar a player playing against his old club. I do wonder about that clause these days, whether it's needed or not. Ultimately, if you loan a player out, it's because you don't require them at your club. Still, those two players unable to take part in this afternoon's proceedings.
Hendricks just heading it away, and Damien Welder just pulling things up slightly. Just a little bit of a dangerous play for the moment. Just an awkward one with Hendricks heading it out of play and the oncoming player sticking the boot out to try and keep it in. Here's Brillante. Hendricks. What an addition he's been to the league, going under the radar too. Some great imports so far this year. Zinedine Mashash, what a star he's been early into this season. And a few underrated pickups in the league over the last few years. Oscar Zavada coming in at Wellington, full of confidence. You saw last night on the coverage between the Wellington Phoenix and Melbourne Victory, saying, "I am the best striker in the league." Certainly not short on confidence, Oscar Zavada. And what a bizarre game that was. Wellington Phoenix managing to get a 1-1 draw without taking a single shot in the game. An own goal, the only one for them, as Milanovic unable to find a teammate.
Once again, they need to stagger their runs in the box, Western Sydney Wanderers. Two runners making the same run at the same time. They're getting into some good areas in those wide areas. It's maybe a lack of communication and awareness.
Runners perhaps hitting that 6-yard box rather than the penalty area or the penalty spot.
Well, to mix it up a bit, if one's going in on the goalkeeper, one needs to just check off just to give those two different options. But I'm sure Marco Rudan will have worked on getting more than two runners into the box. Always look at one near, one far, one central checked off where you can.
Here's Kolakovsky keeping it on play on that far side. Have a look at the expected goals there, 0.74. Big part of that would be David Williams in the woodwork, but more so Stefan Kolakovsky's strike that was saved by Marcelo, stopping it on the goal line. 7 shots apiece, a lively game despite no score here at Combank Stadium. Great opening half of football, and you'd think with the heat dying down a little bit, intensity may lift too. Shushna trying to thread it through. It's with Daniel Benny, who's on the ball now. He was adjudged to have taken the last touch there. Much to the frustration of Alan Stajic. Of course, had such a good period with But Sydney FC's women's team really laid the groundwork for their dynasty.
He also deserves a lot of credit for the Central Coast Mariners revival, and ultimately Nick Montgomery was at the helm for the championship win last season and did a brilliant job. The foundations were laid by Alan Stajic.
Absolutely, did a marvellous job with the Philippines women's team, as well as Tate Russell trying to feed it towards that back post for Antonsen, and was maybe a little bit betwixt and between in two minds of whether to have it strike, play it towards that back post, Mossy.
Yeah, that's right, and the ball was at a perfect height just to put his laces through it. As we see the ball over the top by Borrello, brilliantly weighted. I think he just needs to thrash at that. He's trying to be a bit too cute with the delivery, which is probably more difficult than putting your laces through it and hoping that it goes on target, of course, or Cameron Cook gets a hand to it, palms it into the path of an oncoming runner. But again, they're the nearly chances, aren't they? It's just that cutting edge at both ends.
Cameron Cook, he's 22 years of age, proving the goalkeeping stocks in Australia are well and truly healthy. Of course, Joe Gauci at Adelaide United, another one of those Socceroos call-ups at 23, as Lockie Brook in here now. Goes down on his own accord, just tripping over the grass. Not what he was hoping for, the Olyroos, and Perth go the other way as Lawrence Thomas with the diving header able to clear it for his side. Sweeping up is Lawrence Thomas.
Brilliant from the sweeper keeper, Lawrence Thomas. Used all his experience there to read the play, read the ball, the skid on it, and clear the danger. Such an open field, and he's just that cutting edge at both ends. So Lockie Brook received the ball. Brandon Borrello with a beautiful killer pass to get Lockie Brook in behind again. It's just that final decision, final action.
He had to come out too, did Lawrence Thomas. Daniel Benny in a good bit of space, not too many numbers back for the Wanderers. Gio Colley with a vital touch to get it away from the path of Brandon Borrello. Gio Colley, the former Perth Glory Academy captain. Borrello going down, no foul, says Daniel Elder. Socceroos a bit slow to get up. Does so in the end is Brillante. Whipping it towards that back post for Milanovic. Here's Clisby. Back inside for the Wanderers, headed away by Shushnar. Perth Glory soaking up the pressure at the moment.
It's good work from Davey Williams as well, getting back to help his side out. Jared Hendricks, you could see, was just about to line up on that left foot. Like to see from your front men getting back to help the team out defensively when required.
Here's Beamling. Hendricks. Back from Antonsen. Milanovic. Back to his junior club partway through last season. A little bit of a tricky one for the Wanderers defenders there.
Yeah, it was all a little bit too narrow there. It's a session in breaking down a compact defence on the edge of your box. You need to get the ball into those wider areas just to pull that structure apart.
Here's Beavers, experienced Englishman. Nearly 600 senior appearances, Mark Beavers. It's been a great addition to the league. 2 minutes to be added on here at Combank Stadium. Here's Borrello. Can they get one right before the break? Brook back for Russell, heading it goal bound and doesn't find the target. Just over the frame, and he's had a few good opportunities in this first half, Tate Russell.
Oh, he'd be disappointed with himself there. Some brilliant work from Lockie Brook to pick the pass to the on-running Tate Russell. He just needed to get that to the far post and down. Just found himself underneath the ball with a combination between Borrello and Lockie Brook to fashion that chance for Tate Russell, just breathtaking. Wonderful interchange of play in tight areas. Positive intent. That'll please Marco Rudan no end. Still nothing to show for it.
He wasn't too far off in the end. Western Sydney Wanderers a little bit spoilt for choice in the right back department. Aidan Simmons played a lot of games last year. And as well, Gabe Clerk, who before being injured looked sensational, as Brandon Borrello just tripping over a little bit, and a strike that time from Nick Milanovic. Just into the hands of Cameron Cook. Can't really force a true save out of him.
It's good confidence from Milanovic. Just testing the palms of Cameron Cook. And you know that the sights are on goal.
Scored a brace in their last home game, did Nick Milanovic, in that 5-goal drubbing of Western United, his former side. Here's Williams, just trying to find anyone in the box from Perth Glory, couldn't do so. And in the end is easy to deal with for the Wanderers defence, and it is half-time here at CommBank Stadium. Neither side able to make a breakthrough in that first stanza. David Williams, what a first half from him. Plenty of action. Stepping in to fill the shoes of Adam Taggart, who's out of the squad. Both sides with plenty to do in that second half. As it is at half-time, Western Sydney 0, Perth Glory 0. We'll be back in just a moment to unpack all of the first half's action in the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Don't go anywhere.
Well, Bruce, it's a beautiful night for football here. All the talk this week has been about Nestor Irankunda. It's got the full here we go treatment, but he's not playing tonight. What are you expecting from Reds again?
Stay clear of injuries.
Should be an absolute cracker. Should be an absolute cracker.
about this at Combank Stadium. We may not have a goal, but boy, was it an end-to-end first half. Plenty of action going both ways. David Williams and Marcus Antonsson rattling the woodwork. Just a few moments between them. Welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show here on Paramount Plus. And what a first half we had, Phil Moss, here at Combank Stadium. Plenty of action, but just lacking a little bit of cutting edge.
Yeah, that's right. Everything to show except goals for both sides. And if you look at final third entries, 39 to the home side, 24 to the visitors. And from that, there's been 4 shots inside the box from both sides. You would expect that one of those has been converted. I know we've seen the woodwork hit on 2 occasions, 1 per side, but I think cutting edge will be something both coaches talk about at half-time. And from Stagic's point of view, probably just a bit quicker ball movement in build-up. I think they need to move that Western Sydney Wanderers defensive structure around a little bit more. There
is Gabe Kleur. The Western Sydney Wanderers right back. And let's have a look at the Harvey Norman highlights. Said before, plenty of action in this first half. And it started early, and Daniel Benny, the 17-year-old, boy, is he been lively in this first half.
He certainly has. He's been running off Davey Williams. He's been playing high, dropping into midfield, looking to get him behind. And that's a great piece of defending from Jack Clisby to avert the danger that Davey Williams was putting on the side. And here you just see Jack Clisby coming right through on that ball. Just didn't quite get the outside swing or the reverse swing that he was looking for. And again, it's Western Sydney putting pressure on that Perth Glory defence with a great run in behind from Tate Russell. It was just a lack of runners in the box from Western Sydney that really let Tate Russell down on that occasion. And then Davey Williams lets rip from outside the box. So unlucky not to put his side ahead, but for the woodwork. And then down the other end, only a few seconds later, it was Antonsson who looked a little bit disinterested till the ball landed at his feet for a second time and then just unleashed. And it was the woodwork that saved Perth again.
Tate Russell, that man right there with a great chance right towards the end, and he had plenty of opportunities down that right-hand side from the fullback area.
He did. He injects himself at just the right times, just needs that finishing touch, doesn't he? But as we look at the statistics from that first half, Perth Glory just shaving the expected goals on the home side now from the chances they've created. But look at that, shots at goal 10-7, on target 4-2. You would anticipate that there would have been at least a goal in that first half, but maybe we're in for a glut of them in the second half.
Let's certainly hope so. And there's a big game coming up later today as Adelaide United host Sydney FC in the first game of the Ufuk Talay era. And Luca Ronaldo and Bruce Jitte are there now.
Well, Bruce, it's a beautiful night for football here. All the talk this week has been about Nestory and Kunda. It's got the full here we go treatment, but he's not playing tonight. What are you expecting from Reds against Sydney tonight?
Look, they're obviously going to have to make a forced change. I don't think the system will change too much. Of course, we're all going to miss watching Nesta, but my prediction is Bernardo comes in. Fantastic player. He's already scored 2 goals this season, and he's going to be wanting to keep Nesta, as hard as that may seem, but keep him out of the squad by putting in a good performance tonight.
And of course, at Sydney FC, so much change this week. Steve Corica stepping down. His former assistant, Ufuk Talay, comes in. What are you expecting from them?
Look, I think they've come sort of through the same coaching school, obviously the same club in Sydney FC, which has produced a lot of great coaches already to date. I don't think too much changes, but the big difference will be the motivation factor. You've always seen when a new coach comes in, how much more motivated the players are, how much impetus they want to put into the game. So definitely going to see a much hungrier Sydney FC.
And we've got the Legends game going on behind us. Bruce, are you pulling up the boots for the second half?
No chance, mate, no chance. Trying to steer clear of injuries.
Should be an absolute cracker.
Will Sydney FC bounce back? The new manager bounce. It can be a thing. Adelaide United hosting Sydney FC tonight live on 10 Bold and Paramount Plus from 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Saturday night football at Coopers Stadium. It does not get much better than that. Make sure you tune in for that absolute cracker after this game. Ufuk Talay, his first game in charge of his Sydney FC. A big first half here, Mossy, as well, and Lockie Brook with a big performance in that first half. Yet to break through, though.
Yeah, that's right, and Lockie Brook leads the league for carries that lead to shots on target, so no surprise to see him doing that again tonight. But he's just so lively, so tidy, and no surprise to see him leading the Paramount Plus player index at half-time. Josh Brillante does so much work that goes unnoticed with his work rate in the middle of the park. Cameron Cook with a couple of saves to make, and good to see Giordano Colli as well on that the top 4 from that first half. Hendricks, what a class player. Always got time on the ball, so efficient with his passing. Brilliant to watch.
And Lockie Brook, he's back in the Isuzu Ute A-League, formerly with Adelaide United. But gee, he's making an impact back in the league. 2 goals so far. Also got 5 on his debut in the Australia Cup. He's making a big difference for Marco Rudan.
Yeah, he is. I love the way he plays with freedom as well, and Rudan's obviously sorted out his structure to give him that freedom as well, but he does his job defensively, but so tidy on the ball, and love the way he talks up the A-League as well as such an important league to develop players and give him his chance again. And no doubt I'm tipping him to be right up there at the end of the season when we're talking about player of the year, if he can stay fit. Wonderful player to watch.
Some Diwali celebrations here at CommBank Stadium. You've been a coach in the A-League, Mossy. If you have one thing to say to each team at halftime, what are you saying?
Well, I think, to my earlier comments, I think cutting edge is definitely in the conversation at halftime from both coaches. For Perth Glory, I think Stajic would have concentrated just a little bit on that ball speed when they're in possession and building up from the back. And for Marco Rudan, well, they've created some wonderful chances in transition. It's just about taking 1 or 2 of those chances in the second half.
Well, that was the Hungry Jacks halftime show. The second half is just around the corner. And don't forget, the Socceroos are in action on Channel 10 and Paramount Plus.
Yeah, where they wanna take this. I can see the foes up close, they debating, hating. Yeah, they tryna break me. Yeah, I hear them talk, but they can never play me. They can never shake me. I'm resilient. I got more skills than a Brazilian. They can't stop what's already done. I'll always be number 1. They say I'm moving too fast, oh yes indeed. I see them putting work trying to get to me. They envy me, I'm who they wanna be.
Welcome back to Combank Stadium as the Western Sydney Wanderers host Perth Glory. Hopefully those fans and the Wanderers alike with something to cheer for in this second half. It was end-to-end in the first stanza, but neither side able to make a breakthrough. That cutting edge just lacking a little bit. Plenty to do for both sides. Perth Glory travelling across the country in search of their first victory over the Wanderers on the road in nearly 3.5 years. Western Sydney, on the other hand, have made Combank Stadium a fortress in recent times, keeping a clean sheet in 3 of their last 4 home games. They only require 1 more to equal their record of 3 straight shutouts at home. Nick Milanovic, a lively first half. Lockie Brooke currently leading the Paramount Plus player index, and plenty for both sides to do, Phil Moss.
Yeah, it's all there to play for, and if the first half is about setting the foundation, I think both sides have done that. So both lay claim to going on and winning this game. I dare say there will be a winner at this one. I don't see it playing out as a draw. Plenty of chance at both ends. Some good football. Exciting first half. Let's hope there's a glut of goals in the second.
Let's hope they've just saved them all for this second half. So much action in that first, truly end-to-end, plenty of shots. At either end of the pitch, Darryl Latchman, 34th birthday today. Wouldn't he like to mark it with the win? What an addition he's been to the league, and Perth Glory in particular. Jacob Muir into the starting 11. Ollie Bozanic and Jared Carluccio unable to play against their parent club. They are on loan from the Western Sydney Wanderers. A big half of action is hopefully underway here at Combank Stadium as Western Sydney host Perth Glory in round 4 of the Isuzu Ute A-League. Geez, Daniel Benning, the 17-year-old, shone in that first half in his maiden campaign. He's really looking like a great pickup for Alan Stadic's side. Here's Brooke. What a first half he had. Borello, Campbell Johnson and Phil Moss here in commentary. Russell with a fantastic first half, getting into good areas, but that final ball just lacking from the fullback at the moment. Milanovic, can he get it back? Scrambling defence from Perth, just trying to get rid of it in any way they can. Shushna stays in play. Under pressure again this time. Tate Russell does very well to win his side a throw-in.
Well, it's wonderful feet, isn't it? Such quick feet from Tate Russell there. Just to get inside that throw-in. Good area of the pitch.
Here's Russell showing his strength. Collie straight into the face of Josh Brillante. Here's Hendricks. Switching the play for Clisby. Takes a touch. First time back in. Stopped with ease by the Glory defence.
Deserved a little bit better at the end of that. Great pass from Hendricks. Clisby had taken it down quite well with his first touch. The second was indecisive.
Here's Hendricks. Clisby. Milanovic. Latchman stepping out of defence. Almost giving away possession, but drawing the foul, and will take the moment to head down to Tristan McManus, who is on the sideline with Wanderers assistant coach John Paul DiMarini.
Hey guys, I'm here with JP. JP, very close game, historically a very close game as well. All that we're missing is goals. What's the difference? What's the key?
Yeah, for us, ball movement's important and more forward runs, and we're looking to overload their midfield, so which will create that. So we want to have more forward runs and quicker balls.
Tate Russell's getting a lot of joy here, getting in behind.
Yeah, that's the idea, but we need more players to get involved in that.
Super. Best of luck second half. Thank you.
Overloading the midfield. We'll get you to break that down in just a moment. Phil Moss after this play here is Khalifi. Back for David Williams. It's cut out by Hendricks. Can Wanderers form a counter-attack? The Dutchman flying forward. And it is cut out by Johnny Katrumbas. Overloading the midfield, trying to get that joy on the right-hand side as well.
Yeah, that's right. And it's when you bring your wide players inside, it's when you get Brandon Barello to drop off the front line to overload that midfield. But the interesting part for me there from JP was the forward runs. We spoke about that in the first half when Tate Russell was getting in behind on the right-hand side, the lack of runners in the box, and that comes from making those forward runs. It's not just the ball carrier.
It's Khalifi out wide. Get back to that in just a moment. Shushnar. Kolakovsky for Khalifi. Shushnar playing in a more advanced role than previous years. Khalifi offside. Here's the call, and we'll get things back underway. Partially as well with those forward runs. They've got Jorrit Hendricks and Josh Brillante sitting as the deep midfielders. Then it's just the front two of Brandon Barello and Marcus Antonsen. Do you think there's a little bit missing in that in-between area?
Well, you've got Lockie Brook who floats in between the lines. You've got Milanovic who stays a little bit wider, comes inside at times. But yeah, that I think when you've got the discipline of a Hendricks and a Brillante, it does free up those players to have a bit more licence to go and find the pockets, find the space between the lines.
As Clisby does just that and opens the scoring. What a hit from Jack Clisby. Makes that forward run and punishes Perth Glory. The fullback with a vital strike.
Well, the coach says make more forward runs, and Jack Clisby says yes, sir, on the Harvey Norman replay. Look at that for a forward run. In behind Benny on the right-hand side. And then he just puts his laces through it. Great ball from Josh Brillante, perfectly weighted. And it's Benny who doesn't do his job defensively in a one-on-one situation. Jack Clisby capitalises with the go-ahead goal. And that is exactly what Coach Marco Rudan would have asked for. And he'd be delighted that they delivered so early.
Jack Clisby's first of the season. Tight range too. Very tight angle. And he does oh so well.
Well, it's a cute finish, isn't it? But it's his determination to make that pass from Brillante. For me, Daniel Benny would be ruining a missed opportunity to defend that situation because he was probably favourite to get there in the beginning. It was Clisby's intent that won the day. And then his execution that put his team in front.
17-year-old going up against a 31-year-old as well, perhaps playing a big part of that. Jack Clisby, a very experienced campaigner, over 200 games in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Daniel Benny just in his first season.
The question is, of course, why? Why was Daniel Benny there defending that situation in the first place?
That was my initial thought as well. It was probably where Johnny Katrumbas had to be. Whether he was tucking inside, perhaps, Daniel Benny. Either way. Bit of a defensive breakdown for Perth Glory. And now they have to get back into it. They have to fight back. And plenty of opportunities in the first half. The last three meetings between these two sides have ended with this scoreline. Just the one goal separating them. In those three meetings, it's always been the home side. So it's playing to the script at the moment, but can they change it? Can they rewrite it? David Williams! At the near post. It was a good effort, but just going a hair wide off the mark.
Well, again, it's down this right-hand side. Katrumbas gets forward. We saw that in the first half plenty of times. Davey Williams just lets the ball roll across his body and tries to just open up with his left foot. Like he was going for the near post. I think he struck it quite well. Just couldn't quite get the direction. But a good retort from Perth Glory, just as this Western Sydney Wanderers crowd is starting to get into the game off the back of that go-ahead goal. It's exactly what you want from your team if you're Alan Stajic.
Just on Jack Clisby as well. Mossy, he might want us calling his games from now on. He scored in the last game we called in that Australia Cup. Game 2, fantastic goals from the fullback. Here's Brook. Great turn by Borrello, dinking it towards Russell, back in towards Antonsen. Not a bad ball, and you just expected him to unleash. And the Perth Glory defence does oh so well to deny him. And they go again. Hendricks, Brillante. Edge of the box now, and Shushna heading it wide, and a good bit of play from the Wanderers.
Yeah, fantastic. Not for the first time do we see that. Borrello to take Russell over the top on the right-hand side to bring the right fullback into play. Look at this. Lockie Brook into the feet of Borrello. What a beautiful touch and turn that is. And then the execution to put the pass onto the toe of Tate Russell. Absolutely outstanding.
The RBB in voice. Brillante standing over it towards that back post. Here's Hendricks. Milanovic gets past Williams, cuts inside. This is great from Milanovic. And he's blocked by Shushna. A busy day from him. Russell. Milanovic, great ball in behind for Clisby, and Latchman able to clear it for his side. And it will be out for a throw-in, but a great run and a great ball from Milanovic.
Oh, that was brilliant from Milanovic. Just the way he delays the pass. Look, he's just waiting for Clisby to make the run, and then he just splits the two defenders, perfectly weighted. I think Jack Clisby will be disappointed with his decision there to try and pass it rather than either clip it or drive it, just to cause a little bit more chaos in the middle of that Perth Glory defence. Wonderful play though.
Hendricks switching play. Here's Russell. 3 big chances for the Wanderers. High value opportunities for Marco Rudan's side. Managed to put one in the back of the net. Can they add to that? They're looking the more likely of the two sides at the minute. Here's Clisby. Lively atmosphere at Combank Stadium. Do they have more to cheer for? Clisby, Latchman heading it away, brought down by Russell, and it crosses the line. Does it? Was it a bit of a friendly fire? It does cross the line, and Tate Russell not denied by Brandon Borrello. What a moment for Tate Russell. Spent all of last year out of action with injury. And you can see how much it means to him. The comeback is on.
Well, it'll be checked by VAR, no doubt, but if anyone on the pitch deserves a goal, it's Tate Russell. As we see on the Harvey Norman replay, it's Jack Clisby down the left-hand side, but look at that from Tate Russell. Off the chest, into his path for a volley. Brilliantly executed. A great strike, and gee whiz, how harsh would that have been had it not crossed the line as it hits one of his teammates in Brandon Borrello. It's definitely over the line, you can see from every angle. And he should be happy with himself. He's had a fantastic game tonight. All that was missing was the final touch, and he's finally delivered.
Brandon Morello must have had a target on his chest or something. Just drifting into the goal. Hitting him square as Perth make some substitutions. Adam Zimmerino coming on. And Jaden Gorman as well. And VAR, it must be said, did check that goal. And the whole ball did cross the line. And Tate Russell spent 527 days on the sideline with injury. And what a redemption for him.
Well, that would have been,
goal.
Sorry, Campbell, that would have been one of the biggest fines in dressing room history had Borrello cleared that off the line. That wouldn't have gone down well with Tate Russell in the dressing room.
I think he'd be paying for the whole Bali trip at the end of season, Mossy. He may owe him a few cold ones not to be in the end.
It's still harsh when you're a defender like Tate Russell. You like to see a strike like that bulge the back of the net. But all it had to do was cross the line, and it's done that.
Both goals from the Western Sydney fullbacks today. Both sides getting on the action, and have a look at this angle here. The whole ball across the line and push straight into Brandon Borrello.
Well, it must be said, Brandon Borrello had absolutely no chance of getting out of the way. Thankfully, from Tate Russell's point of view, and Western Sydney Wanderers, it was already over the line.
Two fantastic goals, it must be said, and exactly what John Paul DeMarini was discussing with Tristan McManus just a moment ago about those forward runs from the fullbacks. Tate Russell had a few bites in the first half and got his reward just then. A big mountain to climb for Perth Glory. They have to put their foot down. They are undefeated as things stand. Could that change? Here's Gorman, youngster coming in. He's 20 years of age. He's only played 115 minutes of A-League's action so far. Get a chance to add another 30 or so today. And a foul on Mark Beavers. Brandon Borrello bringing him down. Perhaps a little bit needlessly from Brandon Borrello. Either way, it is a foul.
Yeah, just his enthusiasm. You can see there, that's very lucky not to be yellow carded, really. It's a cynical foul, needless. Just 1-2 with Borrello going into Socceroos camp, whether Marco Rudan will give him an early mark today, should the scoreline remain the same, or they get the third goal, which you would imagine would put the game to bed.
Socceroos playing Bangladesh on Thursday, World Cup qualifier here on Channel 10, Paramount Plus. Make sure you tune in for that one at Amy Park. Here's Kolakovsky. 2 goals off the bench already this season. Stefan Kolakovsky. Here's Muir. Petrumbis. Touch just lets him down slightly. Does keep it in play though. Here's Collie. Shushna. Benny to link up with Kolakovsky. Just can't quite do so. The 17-year-old. Stefan Kolakovsky getting the most minutes he's had for a very long time. He featured twice last year.
You can see there the determination on Western Sydney Wanderers to keep their defensive structure. They held firm, they were disciplined. Well, be absolutely desperate to keep a clean sheet. 3 of their last 4 games at Combank Stadium have been clean sheets.
It's lovely play from the Wanderers. Milanovic driving forward, looking to go around. Daryl Latchman, the Curaçao international, wins out in that battle. To Kolikovski going the other way for Perth. Zimmerino, the best mullet in the game. Can't feed it through for Stefan Kolikovski. Look at that thing.
I can't call it impressive. It definitely wins the contest of mullets in the A-League.
Best is subjective, it must be said.
It is dependent on your definition of best. Ryan Grant's mullet does spring to mind. Sydney FC, of course. Not anymore. Got rid of it.
It was his trademark for a long time, Ryan Grant.
Took him all the way to the Socceroos, didn't it?
Indeed.
Nothing to do with his ability, just his mullet, of course.
There's a mullet quota in this Socceroos camp. Here is Muir. Latchman. It's Collie. Running it through for Zimmerino. Manages to get it out wide for Shushna. Does well to find him too. Through the body of Lockie Brook. And a switch now for Perth. Just a little bit too ambitious and too far ahead of Johnny Katrumbis, who hangs on to the ball when he's 2-0 down. A little bit of an interesting choice from the fullback, maybe just allowing himself to get back into his defensive position.
Yeah, it was a lung buster from Katrumbis to try and get on the end of that Collie pass. Don't blame him for maybe just holding onto the ball for a couple of seconds. Give himself a chance, load the dice in his favour to get back into position before Lawrence Thomas put the ball back into play. Stajic, he'll have full belief that Perth can get themselves back in this game. While it's at 2-0, it takes one goal, as we know, to shift momentum in a big way.
Milanovic trying to bring it down, just can't quite keep it within his grasp. Cameron Cook out to claim. Wanderers looking so lively on the counter at the moment. Just struggling to split open this Wanderers defence. Kolikovski dances around Jack Clisby. Latchman with the switch. Zimmerino. In fact, it is Shushna. Benny. For an option in the middle, Marcelo getting it away. Borello. Hendricks and Brillante get a little bit mixed up, but they do manage to put it out wide for Milanovic. Borello in the middle has Brook out wide. Lockie Brook takes a touch, striking. Can't find the target. Lockie Brook, but a good bit of play from the Wanderers, and hasn't he had a lively afternoon? Lockie Brook.
Again, it's that man Borello, just with a wonderful first touch and turn to open the space to play that pass into the path of Lockie Brook. Just couldn't get his toe around it to get it on target. Player of his quality, he's got disappointment written all over his face. A wonderful opening fashioned by Western Sydney.
Tate Russell, perhaps a little bit of cramp. Still working his way back into match fitness, I'm sure, after spending over 500 days out. So players take the opportunity to get some H2O into the system. We'll head down to Tristan McManus on the sideline.
There we go, guys. The game's panning out how we thought it would. It's great to see that Perth still have their heads up. They're still going for it. They could easily just kind of capitulate after that there. Tate Russell's been an absolute machine today, and I'm delighted for him. Again, listening to the fans talking about different things, a lot of questions about Tate Russell and his impact on the team so far this season. Obviously, with Clure being out injured, with Simmons being out injured, a lot of questions are being asked. But this is the thing about the Wanderers today. They're willing to attack like that. And again, your heart's in your mouth sometimes when the ball comes back, the same as Clisby. Who would have thought the first goal came from Clisby, but what a strike that was. And it doesn't matter how many players are in the goal for Perth, nothing was keeping that out, even if Borrello wanted it. I'm counting that as one goal for him. I still think he's going to get another one. I'm still on for 3-0 here.
It may not be helping your fantasy team, Tristan. I know you've got him captain, and here is the moment from Jack Clisby. In fact, Tate Russell's strike. What a hit. Some ferocity, and unfortunately that's not an assist for Brandon Borrello.
No, that's right, but it's two brilliant touches. Firstly, off the chest to get in front of his defender off the deflection. Latchman didn't really deal with the cross from Jack Clisby and clear the danger. And then it was Tate Russell who saw the opportunity and popped it up from his chest right into his path for a perfect height to volley it. And then it's about the execution and the technique. Fantastic volley. Young players should watch that technique, practice it over and over again, because in those clutch moments when the pressure's on, that's where the practice makes perfect.
Certainly textbook from Tate Russell. Perth Glory conceding twice so far. See Cameron Cook kept a clean sheet in their last game, his first of the season. It's Katrumbas heading it towards the 6-yard area. They do get possession back. Here's Benny. Marcelo not troubled by that one. Here's Colley.
I'm a fan of Daniel Benny. I like the way he plays the game, but I do think when he gets the ball in those areas, it's the second time in the last few minutes where he hasn't delivered a telling cross or pass into the area. Just needs a little bit more composure and awareness about what the most dangerous pass will be.
Still only 17, plenty of room to grow for the youngster. Promising signs already. Of course, so many promising youngsters in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Of course, there's a certain Nestori Irankunda at Adelaide United, grabbing all the headlines at the moment. There's plenty across the league making waves. Here's Adelaide United take on Sydney FC tonight as Borrello looking for a teammate in the middle. Antonsen! It's a great strike from him. Just fell into his path. I thought, why not?
Yeah, he just let the ball come down, didn't he? You can see it there, and the awareness. He's facing away from goal for the challenge, and the awareness to turn and strike on goal. Just couldn't get it down.
The goal scorer, Tate Russell, making way, I'm sure, to a big ovation on that far side. Got his goal after over 500 days out of action. A brilliant moment, a fantastic goal. One that the RBB will be proud of. And coming on, Dylan Skuchlina. Spent a long time in the UK, both Aston Villa and Wolves as a junior in their academies. He's looked great since coming back to Australia too, Skuchlina. And as things stand, Western Sydney Wanderers going top of the table. 8 points, tied Melbourne Victory and Wellington, but the goal difference helping them out. 9 goals scored, just the 2 conceded.
Well, my spies tell me that Marco Rudan during the week wasn't shy in making his players aware that a win today puts them top of the table. He used that as a real motivator this week to drive a ruthless streak in them ahead of this game. So far, so good. He will know better than most given last week's result. But 2-0 is still a dangerous scoreline.
His Wanderers side coming back from a 2-goal deficit last week against Newcastle Jets. Able to come back in that second half. Here's Borrello. You wonder when his number's going to be called after being called up to the Socceroos. Here's Jorrit Hendricks. Winding up from the edge of the box, but can't force a save out of Cameron Cook. Such an experienced campaigner. Jorrit Hendricks just fell to him on the edge of the box. And when it sits up like this, sometimes you just have to have a hit.
Yeah, you certainly do, especially when you're a technician of the quality of Hendricks. They are hard, those ones, when they're coming from that side onto your left foot. Just to keep your head over the ball and keep it down.
Jaden Gorman did well to keep it in play. Just couldn't get past Marcelo. Luna in it right back. Tristan McManus mentioned those injury depth issues that the Wanderers have at the moment. Gabe Clerk in the stands, as well as Aidan Simmons. Aaron McEneff, the Irishman, getting ready to come on. Scored the last time these sides played. The 96th minute winner at HBF Park, their first game there in a long time. Can he be the difference maker? Coming back into the squad. It was a great addition to the Perth Glory side last year. Clisby. Milanovic cuts inside. Options out wide for him in Clisby. Gets past Katrumbis, does very well. Brilliant ball towards Antonsen. And it does stay in play. The Wanderers fans and players alike asking for a penalty from Daniel Elder. Not given. Schuschner cuts inside. It was great work from Jack Clisby once more.
It certainly was, and great decision. Daniel Elder, nothing in that. Some wonderful work down this left-hand side. Milanovic, Jack Clisby, been causing issues all night.
It's a fantastic duo down that left-hand side for the Wanderers. Really great synergy so far this season.
Yeah, and as we said right at the top of the game, Campbell, most crosses in the league have come from that side of this team, Western Sydney Wanderers. Clisby, top of the pops, Milanovic just behind him. So it is something that they work on, and the quality, it's the quality of the crosses that come in as well.
Coley lifting it behind for Daniel Benny, who's out muscled by the Brazilian Marcelo. Perth Glory getting ready to make two changes as well. Riley Warland getting ready to come on, and here is that skip inside of Katrumbis. It's brilliant from Jack Clisby.
Oh, wonderful skill from Clisby. He is a marauding left fullback, isn't he? He gets into those areas so well, but showing his array of skill as well. And then good delivery, good whip on the cross, tail on it if you like.
It's Kolakovsky delivering towards the edge of the box. It just doesn't quite find its way to Jaden Gorman after Zimmerino got a touch on it. It's Katrumbis. Here's Collie trying to thread it through. Kolakovsky just can't quite do so. It's a good run on the far side by Brook and by Borrello. Here's Borrello trying to cut it back for Lockie Brook. Can't quite do so. Mark Beavers, the rangy defender, able to clear it away. It in fact could have been Schuschner is Antonsen. A brilliant ball through for Brandon Borello. And just Shushna coming across the face there and denying the Wanderers.
Oh, he's been fantastic tonight, Brandon Borello. I know the Socceroos staff will be watching this performance, rubbing their hands together as he goes into Socceroo camp. He's been fantastic, and I said at the top, it's sometimes difficult for players once you've been named in a national team squad and you've got a game to play before going into camp. He's been outstanding tonight.
It's Hendricks, given away by Beavers. Collie, a foot race for Beeling and Zimmerino. The latter does win out. And a slight change, Trent Ostler getting ready to come on for Perth. Does that deny the inclusion of Aaron McInnes as Gio Collie in a more defensive role now to the rescue for his side. Trent Ostler and Riley Warland coming on. Johnny Katrumbis making way. And a good shift at right back. And Alexander Shushna making way too. Both the fullbacks making way. Some changes for Perth Glory. Will they be enough? Alan Stagic's side. Here's Clisby.
Well, he's emptied his pockets, hasn't he, Alan Stajic? Doing everything from the bench to try and get his side back into this game.
Offside flag goes up on the far side. Brad Wright. Of course, Perth were forced into an early change after Bruce Kamau exited just about 13 minutes into the game. Stefan Kolakovsky came in, he's done well. Trent Ostler off the bench. Can they follow it up? Kolakovsky once again almost had his third of the season off the bench. Great early involvement from Trent Ostler, but to no avail.
And what a wonderful reflex save from Lawrence Thomas. There's no doubt that Ostler was favourite to score that goal there. Lawrence Thomas stayed tall, picked the right way, and then reacted to the header. It all came from Perth down this right-hand side. Jack Clisby caught very narrow, giving the space out wide, the ball to be delivered, and then the cross to come in. Again at 2-0. The game's not dead yet.
Milanovic brought down by Collie. Still 10 minutes to play. We've seen crazier things. Kolakovsky, it's a good header.
Very good header. Sorry, I said it was Ostler with the header. It was Ostler with the cross, of course. Kolakovsky with the header. That's a good reflex save from Lawrence Thomas.
Fantastic. Kolakovsky denied once more in this game. Making a good case to be in the starting 11. Especially after playing big minutes today. That's brilliant from Kolakovsky to open things up for the Glory. Here's Warland. First time ball, not good enough.
That's not the first touch you want. It's very difficult to execute. And the ball's coming across you like that. You're still not into the rhythm of the game.
Change is being made for the Wanderers as well. Milos Ninkovic coming on. Zach Sapsford as well. Lockie Brook, his day comes to an end, as well as Marcus Antonsen, the Swede, just being told to speed up a little bit by Daniel Elder. And Milos Ninkovic coming on for the Wanderers. Obviously such a big part of their crosstown rivals' history over the recent years, provided some great entertainment in A-League's All Access last year. With Steve Corica, the now former Sydney FC coach. parting ways with the club after 19 years as both a player, assistant, now head coach. No longer.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant career. Steve Corica paid tribute from many angles during the week after that announcement. I thought Sydney FC were very classy in their handling of it. It was always going to be delicate. A player and coach who's been there for 19 years. It is the right time for a change, both from Steve Corica's point of view and Sydney's. Both parties agreed to that and dealt with it very, very well, but I'm not sure we'll see service like that again. 19 years as a player, youth coach, assistant coach, head coach, won every title apart from the Asian Champions League that's on offer. Absolutely fantastic. Steve Corica no doubt will take a little break from the game, do some professional development. We'll see him pop up again because he's got a wonderful CV.
Here's Sapsford trying to thread it through for Brandon Borello. Zach Sapsford obviously been starring for the Wanderers NPL side. Himself and Marcus Eunice have been the two players really lighting it up on the young Wanderers side. Here's Gorman, marked up by Marcelo. Jaden Gorman with the strike. Can't force a save out of Lawrence Thomas, who's been resolute today. As Lawrence Thomas, a reflex save. Hasn't been asked to do too much in this game, especially this second half. As always, there when he's needed. And perhaps unlucky not to be called up to the Socceroos in recent camps.
Yeah, that's right. He keeps knocking on that door, doesn't he? But good to see Jaden Gorman showing the confidence to take his defender on him, Marcelo. That's not too far away. You can see exactly what he was trying to do there. It was a good attack from Perth Glory to release him down the left-hand side.
Here's Milanovic. Striking this time. Dragging it wide once more. He's had plenty of opportunities. Nick Milanovic. All created largely by himself.
Oh, this kid can play. He's so positive with the ball and he sums up the situation really well there. He could have used a runner. He used the runner as a decoy in the end to just create that half a yard. He wasn't far away with the strike. He's always scheming, always looking for ways to hurt the opposition.
Luna with the throw-in has looked very tidy on the ball since coming on. The Wanderers in place of Tate Russell. Here's Latchman. Ostler. Plenty of Perth Glory shirts lining up in the box. Here's Ostler. Trying to get around Clisby, does well towards that near post, and Jaden Gorman can't forge an opportunity from it. Jack Clisby down, seemingly in a bit of pain. Hopefully nothing major for him. Obviously one of the goal scorers tonight. He's had such a good game. And just Kolikovsky putting him out of play.
Oh,
just a few centimetres.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. You think Kolikovsky's going over to help with the... he has a wry smile to help with the cramp for Jack Clisby. Instead, he lifts his foot over the byline so they can get on with
Here you
the
go,
game.
mate. Here you go.
Oh,
shove you off.
Brilliant.
And Josh Brillante leading the Paramount Plus Player Index powered by Stats Perform. Perhaps not who you'd expect, but really controlling the tempo in midfield.
Well, that's right. For the purists, the work that he does not go unnoticed, but it can go unnoticed sometimes, and he deserves that because he covers every blade of grass. But here we see Kolikovsky. Clisby thinks he's coming over to help him, and all he does is get his feet off the pitch so they can get on with the game. And now I think Jack Clisby's getting his own back, just leaving that left foot on the pitch. Gamesmanship, you got to love it.
Here's Ninkovic. Cheeky from Kolakovsky. Ball played forward. Will find its way to Zach Sapsford if he can keep it in play. Doesn't manage to do so. It was an ambitious ball forward from Skichluna. Priestman getting ready to come on for the Wanderers too. Here's Milanovic. Just playing it off Kolakovsky. Good to see Jack Clisby back up and walking.
And look at that from Milanovic as well. The 88th minute, doing his defensive work right deep in his defensive third. He's had a wonderful game tonight, Milanovic. No goals to show for it. He's been scheming, prodding, poking, and no doubt has worn down that defensive structure and mindset of Perth Glory to help his team to this 2-0 lead.
Priestman seemingly coming on for Jack Clisby. His day comes to an end. Ostler trying to put it back into the mixer and bobbled a little bit by Lawrence Thomas, but he does hang on in the end.
Safe as houses. But Jack Clisby can be so thrilled with his night's work. He's been absolutely outstanding. One of Western Sydney's best, I think. Got the goal, of course. He's been marauding down that left-hand side, and some of the quality of his crosses, of course, played a key role in the second goal as well for Tate Russell. Outstanding performance from the left back for Western Sydney Wanderers.
Against his former club. No less. He's Beadling. It's a good move from Skichluna. Gets past two, gets past three. Finds Ninkovic. Out wide for Sapsford towards that back post. And Nick Milanovic can't steer it goal bound, just hits the side netting.
Just ever so slightly lost his footing, Milanovic, as the ball was slid across the goal. Milos Ninkovic knows exactly what to do in those situations. Just feel like Milanovic stumbled just slightly before he took the final step to connect with the ball. His performance tonight deserves nothing less than a goal, Milanovic.
It's been lively in this game. Nick Milanovic. Fantastic performance from him. Yellow card for Alan Stajic as well. Just with a few words for the officials. The Perth Glory coach, 3 minutes to be added on as well, and it looks like it's all she wrote at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt frustrated. Alan Stajic at half-time. He would have thought that his team was a real chance of getting the result tonight. And to go a goal down so early in the second half through Jack Clisby really deflated what was said at half-time. Credit to Western Sydney, they also set the platform in that first half and they took the initiative. They gave their boss the forward runs that he was demanding at half-time. That's exactly how Clisby scored.
Here's Collie. Just over a minute left in the game. Ostler, can they get a consolation goal? Forge a very, very, very late comeback. It falls for Daniel Benny, the 17-year-old, just spraying it wide. And the tale of Perth Glory's day exemplified in that moment.
Well, he's done the hard part ever so well. Look at this, across from Kolakovsky. It finds its way to Benny. He turns his defender brilliantly, and then all he has to do is find the back of the net. That was the easy part. Very, very disappointed with that, Benny. Even though it is very, very late, there might not have been time for a second goal, but still, take a goal like that when it's on offer.
Here's Milanovic. He's had such a lively game, can't find Sapsford out wide though. And it's played long from Perth Glory. Jaden Gorman. Geez, Marcelo, all of that experience overseas, the former Lyon man.
Oh, he's a real pro, isn't he, Marcelo? He's got kilometres and kilometres of running in those legs over a long and distinguished career. Brilliant defending.
And that is full time as Western Sydney Wanderers go top of the Isuzu Ute A-League with a professional win over Perth Glory at their home. They keep a clean sheet as well. A record 3 straight shutouts at home. A fantastic performance from Marco Rudan's side. Goals to Jack Clisby, a fantastic strike. And Tate Russell, after spending over 500 days out of action, back in the side, gets his first goal upon return. An emotional moment for Tate Russell. And he can be proud of his performance tonight, as can the Western Sydney Wanderers, as it ends at Combank Stadium. Western Sydney 2, Perth Glory 0. And plenty of action in that second half. Western Sydney really turning it on. And we'll head down to Tristan McManus on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm here with the goal scorer, Tate Russell. Tate, I'm absolutely buzzing for you. A terrible injury that you had. What's it like being back, first off, and then being back in the team and then making such an impact?
Yeah, obviously coming back from such a long time, you never really know what you're going to expect in that next year. And to be able to play the games that I have already is quite the privilege, especially for this team. To come on and score my first goal back is such an unreal feeling, and now putting ourselves in a good position for this break now, and then the derby up next, it's a good place to be.
In terms of your own gameplay at the moment, I mean, Jesus, you're up and down. You're almost like a third right winger there at the time as well. You feel like you've got that in your body, you're getting more confidence going on. What are you trying to add to your game now that maybe we might see in the next couple of weeks coming?
I think the big thing is consistency. Sometimes I'm not up there for long, and other times I've got to get back. So if I'm consistent up there, I won't have to run too much back, and if we put the ball in the back of the net, we won't have to do it too much. So if we can be more consistent, especially myself up top, it's a real leg up for us.
Jeez, you nearly burst the net there with that strike. All right, it was some strike. Brandon tried to keep it out. Will you have words with him?
Yeah, it just so happened that he was on the end of it, but probably in the net was the best place to be, I guess.
Congratulations, absolutely buzzing for you. Great to see you back. All right, thank you. Guys, I'm also with Alexander Susner here. Alex, how are you going? Sorry about today. I mean, but still, good performance for you guys. You aren't getting the results at the moment, but in terms of the team play, how the season started, how are you finding stuff over on the coast?
Yeah, look, I think personally it's a disappointing result. We came out, I reckon we came out really good, in the first half. We played some good football, we pressed, we held our own. We know Wanderers, they're a good opponent. We came out with a game plan, and I think in the first half, we held our plan, and disappointing, to concede that early in the second half. It changes the game up a bit, especially, playing at their home ground. So, I think there's a lot of positives from that game. Still disappointed to get the loss, but we move on.
Yeah, most definitely. Considering the amount of changes that you had today as well. I spoke to JP just before, at the start of the second half. He was saying just trying to overflow the midfield, get the runners going as well. But it was that close. Did the second half start as you expected it to, having been so close in the first half?
Look, we knew the second half was going to be harder than the first half. It was, I could say it was 50-50 in the first half. Both us and Wanderers came out in the second half knowing that there's 3 points on the line. They capitalised on their chances. We didn't. That's football. We've got to keep our heads high, move on to our next game and go from there. Yeah,
that's it. You get a week to break now, and then you're up to Brisbane. But I mean, the way you're playing at the moment, the way you've been dominating right up until this week for sure. But you must be confident going into Brisbane. Although all the talk is about them at the moment, people are talking about glory again.
Yeah, look, I think we play some beautiful football. It's a new team, new coach. There's a lot that's changed at the club. it's going to take a bit of time to to build back up to where we want to be. But I believe in the boys, in the staff, and I believe that we can achieve something good this year.
Great stuff. Good on you. Thank you very much. Appreciate taking the time with us. There we go. We heard from the both teams. There's plenty more wrap up of this game on the other side of the break. Stay with us.